I'm Gary Comer with Soul Whisper Ministries, and this is Alex Vargas, who's going to be sharing some of his story here in a little bit. In this session, we're going to talk about the progressions of the non-believer. God gave me an insight on this through the opportunity to journey alongside two skeptics, one who is a staunch atheist, and over a 9-month period, both came to faith 2 weeks apart. And after it happened, I stood back and dissected what had occurred, because I noticed that each person, and they're very different individuals, but each person had made it through certain progressions. And I ended up terming these the steps to faith. And I have a graphic so you can see what I'm talking about. They are open to, able to, want to, and choose to. And if you look at the chart, you can see how there's a different hang up and there's a different area or a different way for us to focus our conversations. The different hang up, the hang up initially for the open to step is interest. And obviously, we're going to have to see someone take that initial step of being willing to talk, willing to explore, willing to look into the Christian faith if we're going to reach them. And both of these skeptics were willing to do that with me. But they also had to come to a place of belief. And if they were going to come into the faith, my atheist friend had to come to a place of believing in God. And my theistic skeptic had to believe that the Christian faith was true. And so that was a big challenge in a long period of time working that step. And then there was also the desire and the choose to step in each of their stories. And now I want to open this up and share a little bit about Alex's journey. Alex came into our class as a Steps to Faith class. And Alex, just tell us a little bit about kind of what brought you to the class.
I was really at a dead end with my life, and I just want to know where my life was going. You know, I was tired of my old lifestyle, and I needed some questions answered. And I was led to go to your class.
How did you feel being at the class?
You know, the first impression I got was everybody was friendly, and I got greeted, and it felt like it was a safe place for me to come and ask those questions. And it seemed like, you know, you're going to answer these questions at that time. So you seemed like you were knowledgeable.
Oh, that's one of the most important things that we want to do with that class, is to create that sense of safety. That's so important. Now, what was the big question or big statement that you made early on?
Yeah, well, you know, the one thing that stood out above everything was, you know, the resurrection, you know, it telling me that a man died and he was buried and then rose again in 3 days. I found that really hard to believe. So I needed some hard evidence. Yeah,
and we took a long time really zeroing into the rationale for the resurrection and helping him to see why someone would believe, not just from the Bible, but also from other evidences, why someone would believe that this event actually took place and it was true. And so in that one session, we were able to help Alex over that step. And that's the able to step, the reason step. But right away, Alex then, in the very next session, makes this statement. He says, I don't know if I want to follow Jesus. And so we saw how you'd move from the reason step to the next want to step. And so the conversation changed there completely. There we were focusing on really the reason to want to follow. And they're looking at some of the heart motivation involved for following Jesus. I was leaning into some of my own stories, some of my searching, and some of the segues in my life where I was looking for fulfillment in other places. And we were trying to appeal to you along those lines so that you would have the heart and desire to follow. Eventually, you worked through those things and you did process that decision. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and in those weeks that I was going to your class, a lot of different things happened. Went to a service and I felt convicted of my sin and just things that were needed to change in my life that were causing me physical problems. And eventually, one day on a Saturday afternoon, I went to a gas station I usually visit, and I was waiting in line to pay for gas, and it was a long line. And I just noticed some things that I became more aware of at that time. And there were some girls behind me, and they were talking about, things that were going on. I guess they went to a party or something the night before, and, some things that were, I guess, that happened with some guys, and it was sexual stuff, and I don't know, there was something stirring in me, and I was just, I wanted to change, and I just really, I needed some help with that. And I had issues with lust that, I needed to deal with, and wanted to change, but I couldn't do it on my own. So, and as well, in that time I was there in the gas station, there was other things, the guy with the 24 pack, I was going to go out and he said, I'm going to go party. And, so it was just a lifestyle I had seen and I wanted to change. It was in my past and I wanted to change. And as well as with anger, there was another gentleman that was, I guess he didn't get the change he wanted from the cashier. The poor girl was like she was apologizing, but he just seemed really out of line with his anger. And I kind of recognized that was something I needed to deal with myself. So,
and when you came into the class, I remember how you talked about these different people, and you said, I used to be like those non-believers. And when the class heard that, and Ashley, one of our team members, when she heard it, she lets out a scream. She was so thrilled to figure out what you were saying, that you had actually become a believer, that you had crossed over and into the faith. And we recognized that was the time or the moment when you came into the faith. And so it was exciting to see Alex make this journey through 5 weeks from being open to come to the class to explore, to being able to believe in the resurrection, to coming to a place of desiring to follow Christ and the choice to do so. And so it's very, very exciting. Alex has become an amazing believer. He's got a great walk with God, and he also has a tremendous heart for the mission of Christ. He evangelizes people. It's really been exciting to know you. But I do want to say, work the steps. They're going to show you where to focus, and like a stairway to heaven, they can be used to see your friends make the journey all the way to Jesus.